The terrorists in Baramulla, Uri, that's the breaking news that we have for you. Indian Army has exposed Pakistani Army on the terror operation that was going on in Baramulla. Army confirms what CNN News 18 told you this morning, that Pakistani Army was giving support, cover fire to terrorists who were trying to infiltrate. The Indian Army fired and the counter fire came from the Pakistani side. Indian Army also said that Pakistan fired on the quadcopters that were used by the Indian side. Army further said, this is the Indian Army, that Pakistan wants to disrupt peace in the region. Let's listen into that briefing that was done and then I'll cross live to Ishan Mani.
ये टेररिस्ट के साथ फायर फाइट तकरीबन 2 घंटे तक चली, 6:40 से लेके 8:40 तक। इस फायर फाइट के अंदर हिंदुस्तान फौज ने यूबीजीएल्स, एमजीएल्स और रॉकेट लॉन्चर्स का इस्तेमाल किया और इस फायर फाइट के अंदर एक टेररिस्ट न्यूट्रलाइज किया गया। इसके बाद जो एम्बुश पार्टीज वहां थी, उन्होंने नोटिस किया कि 2 टेररिस्ट जो कि इंजर्ड हुए हैं, उन्होंने अपनी थोड़ी मूवमेंट बदल ली है, तो उसके हिसाब से एम्बुशेस ने रिसाइड किया और तकरीबन 9:15 बजे फिर से एक सेकेंड फायर फाइट शुरू हुई। ये फायर फाइट तकरीबन आधे घंटे तक के लिए चली, जिसके अंदर की दूसरा टेररिस्ट भी न्यूट्रलाइज कर दिया गया।
My colleague Ishan Mani is joining me live. So Ishan, there has never been any doubt that these terrorists were supported by Pakistani Army. But now the way they've started giving cover fire to help these terrorists go back to Pakistan if they are challenged by the Indian Army, is this something new?
No, definitely not new, but yes, there have been incidents in the past when cover fire has been provided, and Army has clearly said in the previous releases as well that there has been cover fire which has been provided in order to send them, to the other side of Kashmir. Remember, pre-2019 and before, that ceasefire understanding between the two countries was there, we have seen incidents in the past then when the ceasefire violation used to take place, and India used to always point out at the fact that under the garb of ceasefire and opening fire at the Indian positions, they are trying to sneak in more militants into the Kashmir side, and that has been the case at that time also. But today, the army is saying that not only was the firing done on the side from the Pakistan side, but also the fire was also drawn towards a quadcopter which was in the area to monitor that entire action which was happening, because one of those militants who was injured, who was the third militant, was in the vicinity, and that is why to trap him down, quadcopter played an important role. But that draw fire from Pakistani post, and it seems like, according to the army, that these militants were being aided and supported fully by Pakistan. One of the interesting facts about this is that it's not easy to infiltrate until unless you don't have a support from across, because Pakistani army is also dotting at several locations on the line of control, and infiltration where it has happened. I have been to this particular village called Hatlanga. It's not far from the Uri main area. It's an area which is densely again covered by forest area. Then army has a surveillance equipment stationed all along it. There's a nala which flows in Hatlanga. Not sure whether that's an exact location, but there was an infiltration attempt some years back. Where I went and saw that how difficult it is to infiltrate through that zone. But yes, there are attempts being made from that particular area, and at that time also there was fire drawn from the Pakistan. Okay. And today again they have shot at their positions, and seems like that they had pushed them to come across.
Right, Ishan, since you know the topography so well, help us understand. This was alluded to even in that briefing. At least 5 kilo, could be up to 7 kilo, IED. Very quickly, Ishan, if you could help me understand what key installation there which could have been possible target.
Well, Uri has a large brigade. There are multiple army camps from one place to another. But if you remember Mohra, when multiple army personnel were killed when a suicide squad of Jaish entered a camp and then opened indiscriminate fire. So yes, whenever there are things like these, such kind of infiltration attempts, forces do try to see that what was their target, whether they wanted to carry out a Fidayan attack on certain camps, because this is an apt time, as I was saying earlier, to infiltrate. Once the snow starts setting in, then it will become hard for them to infiltrate. It's not the case that they don't infiltrate during winter time. They use the sophisticated equipments to come across, but yes, that's a difficult time, and this is the prime time when they will come and start staying in Kashmir.
Ishan, do hold on. Defense expert Major General retired A.K. Sawach is also with me. Sir, help us understand, in the last 72 hours or so, we have seen multiple fronts being opened, both along Pir Panjal. South of Pir Panjal, we saw an incident in Rajouri. In Anantnag, the operation is still underway. In Uri also, there was an attempt to infiltrate, successfully neutralized. The terrorists have been neutralized. Do you see Pakistan, desperate Pakistan, turning on the accelerator or in both Kashmir as well as Jammu region after the G20 success?
Absolutely, no doubt about it. After the success of G20, Pakistan wants to now activate this area again because the terrorism is in the last phase here. There are hardly about 60 to 70 terrorists which are left in the valley floor. And the way our counter-terrorism operation has been successful, it seemed that it is a matter of another 2 years. But certainly now Pakistan wants to reactivate the complete Kashmir Valley, especially after what success India has got it in G20. Also, where Chandrayaan has landed in southern pole of moon. So they are trying to now send a fresh infiltration. And especially after the army is now become much more bold once interim government has come in Pakistan. So you remember there is a sort of a ceasefire between India and Pakistan from January 21. But certainly what is happening is now, before the winter set in, this is the time when the maximum infiltration attempts are being made. And now with this aim that they want to sort of activate militancy and terrorism in Kashmir Valley, they will make use of this time and will try to send the terrorists starting from Gurez sector, coming to Machal sector, then also the Karen sector, Tangar, Kanna sector, and then this is Baramulla sector, and then Gulmarg.
Okay.
So the point is that Baramulla and all is very, very favorite because it's the closest to basically coming to the valley. But we are well prepared that these terrorists have been killed between the line of control and the line LC fan. And our quadcopter were also used. It was well known that terrorists are trying to infiltrate. And the point in this to be noted is the Pakistan force have now actively start helping these terrorists. They were firing it. They were firing an our quadcopter which was keeping these terrorists under surveillance. So the point today is that we have to be very alert and live. Pakistan will try its best to sort of activate this area again. Because what is happening is our counter-infiltration grid is very, very strong. And there were hardly any infiltration taken place. Whatever has come from Rajouri Punch or some parts of basically in Punjab. But not much infiltration has taken place from Kashmir Valley. So now the Pakistani will try their best. They will activate this area. But I'm sure our forces are well prepared. See, I commanded a brigade in Machal. So I know exactly as to what they try. And they are now well equipped with modern equipment. They have got, bulletproof patka. They are wearing a helmet. They are having
Sir, if you allow me to come in, there was one clarification, if you could help us understand. The new strategy of these terrorists seem to be to take refuge in natural caves and caverns in the heavily forested areas of Pir Panjal mountains. If jungle warfare and guerrilla warfare is what Pakistan is now training these terrorists for, what kind of re-strategizing will be needed on our part, especially in the winter months?
The point is that this is not a new strategy. They were adopting this strategy, especially in the higher reaches and all. There are natural caves there. These are called gufas. So they have been using this, and there are also caches which have been found in this sort of cave. So now, earlier they were directly coming out. They are trying to make it. In fact, between LC and the LC fans, there are certain caves which are there, and where they have also had some caches. They can get wrong in between and then can again attack. So this is strategy. What has now is, in the valley flow, that they were earlier start trying to basically operate from the villages. Now they are going to the higher reaches. They are now feeling it that in the villages you were cordoning that in the complete house where the terrorists had hidden themselves and taking down the house. But now they are going in a higher reach where they are, jungle, there is a hilly area, and they will sort of have some sort of initiative because you are climbing up, they are already there, so they will try to fire it. So this is the change of strategy, no doubt about it. But remember that we are well prepared, our forces are well prepared, well tuned to fight such a counter-terrorism operation. But certainly how you operate in Kashmir Valley and how you operate on accordingly we have to change our tactics and
Okay.
strategy.
All
But
right.
certainly one thing is very clear.